Food is arguably the most important resource in Age of Empires 2, but all we see in game is just a single set of numbers. Throughout this series, we will be diving in to see exactly what foods each civilization was preparing and eating, and how well I can recreate those dishes. This is Meals of Empires. So we're making blinis, which are pancakes, or similar to a pancake and a crepe, but there is a leavening agent. So we are adding a sourdough starter instead of yeast. It's a little bit unlikely that the Slavs had access to a steady source of yeast. We're going to be making a beetroot and caper topping. We're going to be making a sauteed onion, mushroom, and walnut topping. And then the last topping is, I can't believe it's not smoked salmon, where I'm going to take a carrot and try to make it look like smoked salmon or some sort of smoked fish. And some recipes I saw online would add some lemon juice, but I looked at where lemons were originating in South Asia, and I couldn't quite figure out how they were going to end up to the Slavs. So it just seemed a little bit too much of a stretch, but that's like right on the line where if you want to add lemon, I'm not going to call it unrealistic. If you're watching this back on YouTube, come join the stream Sundays at 5 p.m. European time, Amsterdam time, and I'll post on Discord a Unix time code so everyone can see when the stream's going to be. So let's get all of our ingredients out. For the blini, we have flour, we have salt, water, and a sourdough starter. I started my sourdough starter last week. It looks just like an amalgamation of water and flour. I don't know what else to call it. It smells to me like banana esters, definitely a little fermented smell, but not unpleasant at all. And then some olive oil. Olive oil is a little bit, again, on the fence, not as much as like getting lemons to the Slavic areas in like modern day Belarus, Ukraine, Russia. It's like 500 to 1,000 kilometers to get olive oil, but that's what I have. And otherwise, they would have been using animal fats, which kind of break the whole vegan idea. So the order we're going is wash carrots and prep them into the oven. Then we are starting the beetroots, and then we're starting the walnuts. And then we're doing the blini mix. So we're trying to do everything at once and hope that we don't mess up and have any slip-ups. Carrot from the grocery store, carrot from the farmer's market, super fat. So I think these are going to be really nice. They're going to make some long or wide strips of smoked salmon. All right, so that's the start of the salt, but we really need the entire bottom of this to be salted. This is like if your fish was dunked into salt for multiple days before getting smoked. That's what we're doing with these carrots. So I'm going to cut them just about in half, even as I can get them, but also pretty flat. So I'm really going to scrub this in with salt. As if it was a real fish that needed to provide food to my family for the next 7 months of winter. Blasting them as high as my little combination microwave oven can go at 240 degrees Celsius, which I think is like 440 Fahrenheit roughly. So carrots were our first root vegetable. Beets are our second. I guess I'll show it to this camera. Pretty typical. Usually they have greens coming up the bottom, but if you can get them without the greens, it's a lot easier to bag and manage and store. And just need to wash it so there's no dirt left on the beet while you're cooking, so it's not getting in the water. So we have 3 different groups of Slavs: the West Slavs, the East Slavs, and the Southern Slavs. And so the East Slavs are represented by, the Age of Empires 2 civ, the Slavs. I'm saying Slavs a lot. Get used to it. Then the West Slavs, we have both the Bohemians and the Poles. And then the Southern Slavs are the Bulgarians. So they all have a common language, which wasn't a written language until I think someone was trying to translate the Bible into text, and so they came up with kind of what Cyrillic is, or like a Proto-Cyrillic that came out of Greek. And once I start sauteing the walnuts, hopefully some of the oils from them will be coming out as well. Though I don't think walnuts were ever used as an oil source in themselves. But I can't forget about the walnuts. I don't want them to burn. That would be like the biggest mistake I could do on stream, is burn the walnuts. I don't think I can really forget about anything else. All right, these onions are looking pretty well diced. Not too many ended up on the floor, which is always a risk with a smaller cutting board like this. They just ended up all over the counter instead. Oh, there we go. Now I got it on the floor. The warped cutting board is just allowing everything to spill off the sides. Jack wins the point with guessing capers. Capers are the immature flower of a species in the rose family, originating from the Middle East or around the Mediterranean. And since capers are pickled, sorry, I had to pause there for the ASMR. That's what YouTube's all about. Oops, I turned. Oh, that's fine. Since capers are typically pickled, they would have been able to be transported up north. So I'm not sure what species of mushrooms are. Clearly Basidiomycete, like a common mushroom-looking mushroom. But those Slavs definitely wouldn't be growing mushrooms commercially. I think they had plenty to choose from in the variety of forests surrounding them, whether they're going for mushrooms that are growing on dead wood or on trees. They probably figured out what species aggregated around what species of tree or what species of plant. I do want to cut these fairly thin. I think this could use a bit more moisture too, so I might add some water. It'll help with the burning and allow the mushrooms to get cooking, because right now it's a little overwhelming in this pot. The mushrooms are just arriving to the party, and they don't really feel like they know anyone here. And so I think a little bit of, I don't know, liquid courage could help them. Although in this case, liquid courage is non-alcoholic. Like the nuttiness from the walnut is somewhat understated. It kind of fills in the flavors, the aromas. Oh, this is going too hot. All right, we're starting with, we're just using wheat flour. I know buckwheat flour is somewhat popular, but I kind of slipped my mind to pick some up. So we're just using just general wheat flour. I'm not entirely sure like the different varieties of wheat. I think these are at the consistency I want them now. The mushrooms have taken some of the flavors. Everything's a little bit mixed, and I don't want anything to be too dried out. So we said 200 grams of whole wheat flour, or sorry, just plain wheat flour. We're doing about 1 tablespoon of salt. Now I can start adding the water and sourdough starter and some oil. So that's roughly a 2-to-1, slightly over 2-to-1 ratio. And hopefully this all mixes together. The dry, the water, soluble, and the oil. Oh, I have a whisk. I recently purchased a whisk. All right, that's well mixed. I think that consistency is pretty good. We'll go with that. Yeah, that's what we need to do, Abby. For the Huns episode, as Jack pointed out, you send your package accidentally, in air quotes, to your neighbor, and then
Who is a Hun?
No. They don't have to be a Hun, but we pretend like we're there for the package, and then I come in with the coconuts and I raid their fridge to find their root vegetables. That sounds like I'm getting into the territory of prank channel, and they don't have the best reputation on the internet. Turn that off. Pour the water out and pour some cold water in, but it will take a while for these to cool down. Even the lid's very hot. The skin on this one isn't coming off as easily. Oh, there we go. Just need to apply a little bit more pressure. Cause it's almost like tectonic plates. You apply pressure and suddenly there's the breaking point where the skin slides over. There we go. And I'm gonna smash these down and add a little bit of salt. Look at those gorgeous carrots. They must be salty. So we need enough vinegar to allow the carrots to be completely covered. Which might be not quite the rest of the bottle. So we've gone through the salting section, and I don't really know what we'd consider this section of the fish preparation, so-called fish preparation. I think the batter could be a little bit more liquid. It's not really coming into a... It's not spreading out evenly. It was kind of forming a ribbon, so I think I will add a little bit more liquid in there. All right, while that's going in the background, let's pay more attention back to these beets and figure out how exactly they're going to be cut up. I might just take a few individually and work on them rather than the whole bunch. So we'll do small batch artisanal beet sauce. Oh yeah, it's really sticking. And it's breaking. Oh, I'm sorry, Jack. I messed up your mega Blini. Let's see what I can do to fix it. Do that. I'll make it up to you. I'll make another one. I need to cut the carrots into slices. All right, first taste test. This tastes like a carrot that has been covered in salt and dipped in vinegar. And it doesn't taste like salmon at all. But it's not bad. It'd be like if you try to make salt and vinegar chips with carrots. These haven't risen as much as I was expecting them to. I think I would need to add something that's a little bit more basic. There's some acidity in the sourdough, so I need to add like baking soda or something, but I couldn't really find any source on the availability of baking soda in medieval Europe. Every time I touch the carrot, I feel like I need to wash my hands to get all the vinegar and salt off. Here's our mandolin. We just twist this little button, and the blade pokes out on this side that has this little rough spot, so I know which side is which. And it just takes a little sliver, which is supposed to be similar to the size of smoked salmon. And we'll start from the inside and work our way out. Oh my gosh, that's so satisfying. I don't know if on video that looks satisfying, but just having like the color difference on the sides of the carrot and it just coming out somewhat consistently on the first slice. The color scheme here is a little lacking. I have the solution. Whether this matches the flavor profile, I'm not really sure. But will it pass the photo test? I think so. How's the presentation look?
Well, it's pretty.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Put
It
some effort
looks
into it.
exactly like last time and the time before.
You mean I'm using similar plates?
You're using like a thing and then like a glob of something else.
You're right. First we had the Incas, which was potatoes with a glob.
We had potatoes with a glob.
And then we had tortillas with globs.
Yeah.
And now
so it's not very creative, my guy.
You're right. I need to differentiate. We need to get into the soup territory.
Okay, but I want to eat it.
All right.
What's this? Carrot?
Or is it smoked salmon? The real question.
Isn't it supposed to have capers? Oh, that has capers.
Yeah.
How do I eat it? Like a taco?
I think, yeah, it's going to turn into a taco. You can take some off. It's too much. Go for it.
Salty?
Is it salty? Like a fish? I'm going to get you water because there's no way you're going to be able to accurately judge the other ones off of that one.
You made me eat that.
I ate quite a bit already, actually.
Oh, that was terrible.
It's pretty salty.
It's terrible. Okay, now this one. Did I miss the caper?
I put quite a few in there because I wanted an even profile.
Okay. No comments.
No comments?
I don't want to eat another bite.
Okay.
But
does it taste like dirt?
A little.
It does taste a little bit like dirt.
Yeah, it tastes like beets.
Well, ideally, beets don't taste like dirt.
There's nothing like else interesting in there. It's just beets.
And a little bit of caper.
And then like a pocket of salt where the caper goes.
Okay. I think that's an accurate description.
Are you sure that I had this much salt? Okay, and what's in this?
There's onion, mushroom, and
walnuts.
Walnuts, yeah.
And what's the green stuff?
Purely decoration. It's mint.
Should I take it out?
Yeah, you can take it out. It'd be more accurate.
It's not part of the...
No, not a part of the official recipe.
Okay. Wait, is that beet on this? It's not supposed to be on there.
I think that was your finger.
Okay. Oh, there's no salt on this. This is terrible. I'm really sorry.
That's okay.
I will finish this one though.
So, the carrot one, I finished. The beets, Abby took one bite. And no comments, but not interesting because it's not very homogeneous. And then the onion one, once I add salt to it, you'll eat another one of those?
No.
You still wouldn't eat another one? We're going to plan B for dinner?
I would eat the walnuts.
Separately?
Yeah.
The microphone cut out, so if you didn't get the scores, Abby gave me a 2 on execution, pretty much purely based off of the visual appeal. And then she gave me a 0 on should you serve this to your girlfriend. So out of 10 times, my girlfriend would eat this 0 additional times. She looked mad. She's not that mad. It's still, okay, she's mad.
No, I'm not mad.
You're not mad.
I'm not mad.
She's got snacks. She's coming over to prove she's not mad. Look at this big fake smile.
Not fake.
We're such a loving couple.
We're so happy
We're so happy together.
I haven't had to make a single meal.
Okay, that is nice. Abby, since the score was so bad, I'm going to leave it up to you if you have a preference on next week's civilization, just based on like any cooking
Really?
you like. Yeah.
Italians?
I thought you might say that. So we will do Italians next week. It'll be a little bit easier.
Or Romans? Which one?
Italian will be better.
Okay.
Romans will be very simple fare that I think you're going to be like, is this all? This is fava beans with water? Okay. And Italians, I think, will be using the pesto. I have plenty, or using the basil, and I have plenty of that to make pesto. So
You're not gonna feed me olives though.
no olives. Abby will not eat olives. It'll just be in the photos, I think.
You're gonna bring olives into this house?
Sorry, no olives whatsoever. But next week will be Italians. I'll let you guys know if Abby changes her mind at all about any of the food.
The olives?
No, not about olives. Any of the food that was presented today.
Are you gonna force me to eat more?
No, if you change your mind,
Okay.
you know, there's like a 2% chance that happens, but I don't know.